Hey everyone, it's Jen with ChappyPlans. Thanks for joining me for December Daily. This is my last process video for 2024. This will be stories 30 and 31, so stay tuned. Hey friends, it's Jen with ChappyPlans. Thank you so much for joining me for the last process video of my December Daily album and project for 2024. These stories are 30 and 31. Story 30 is about quiet moments in the month, and story 31 is just a way to house Christmas cards that we receive. So it's a really, really simple one. These come together really quickly. I knew that I wanted to create something around quiet moments, and I had 6 photos. And so once I knew which photos that I was going to use, I remembered that I had this paper that's a jumping off point. It was a discounted add-on because the paper is a thinner quality than what the typical pattern papers are printed on, which is a very thick, high quality cardstock. So it didn't matter to me because I knew I was going to adhere another piece of the pattern paper for story 31 on the back of it. So anyhow, I'm going to speed this up and continue doing the voiceover. So first thing I need to do is punch holes, and I decide that I need to draw them in first, and then I can just put the transparency on top and punch holes through it. I used the other portion of this transparency to create a pocket in one of my other stories, and this is the size that's left, which is 7 by 8 1/4, which is the outside the page protector size. So I knew that I wanted to create a wreath with all of the photos that I had. I have, like I said, 6 photos, and I knew I wanted to make some sort of wreath with them. And I printed them out. First, I put them in a circle shape on diptych, and then I sized them to 2 inches in my print to size app. And once I printed them out, I punched them out with a 2-inch hole punch. It was pretty easy. You're gonna see that I was trying to create some sort of swivel or use like one of these Tim Holtz attachers, but I end up not liking the way that it looks and how it warps the transparency. So I am going to do what I've done in the past in some stories and just add a little gold semicircle dot, little piece of bling that kind of looks like it could be attached as a brad, but really it's just a sticker. So I will get to that. You'll see me fix that probably while I'm rambling. So I have these simple quiet moments ornament that is the transparency from there was like a whole sheet of ornaments, and I've used a ton of them throughout my 2 albums. And then I knew the same one was on the cardstock pattern paper, so I thought, oh, that's perfect. I can use one on the front and one on the back. They say the same thing. And I decided to work on the back first, which is where all the photos are going to go, because to me it was more important for the photos to be in the right kind of order and shape, and then I can work on the front. So you'll see what I mean in a second here. So I'm just adhering them down to this is the back side of the story. Like I said, I wanted to complete this part first. And the photos are all kind of dark, muted, so I wanted to kind of make sure that they were, I don't know, positioned in a way that the colors weren't all like clustered together. So like the picture of, you know, the candles wasn't right next to the picture of the street photograph. So I don't know, in my head it just made sense to kind of position them the way that I did, and then I can work on the front. So I didn't know which pattern papers I was going to use. I only had a few picked out. So I love this XO pattern, and then this floral pattern. They're from older kits, and then the Merry Christmas is from this year. And then I'm going to go into my stash and pull out some other papers and see what I can find to make this wreath on the front. So I have the really pretty red paper with the gold starbursts. I have a striped paper, and I also found, decided to use the red polka dot paper with the gold foiling. So bringing in some bright reds as well. Sticking with obviously like red, green, and then maybe just a cream or a khaki kind of shade. So all I need to do is adhere those to the front and just kind of place them over the back side of the photo circles so that they are camouflaged. And it's not perfect. Like in the end, you can see a little bit through the back, but it's fine. Like it doesn't bother me at all. I ended up deciding to include some little circular chipboard pieces as well, just to add a little something extra, bring in another texture. I didn't want to overcomplicate it because by this point in my storytelling journey, I'm pretty ready to be done. So I knew I wanted to make a really cute wreath, but I didn't want it to be like over the top. I'm sure I could have gone nuts trying to figure out the perfect, circle embellishments, but I just kept it really simple. Oh, see, here's where I'm like, nope, I don't like this. I'm taking it off and I'm going to replace it with the little gold jewels or whatever they're called. I don't know. There's probably a name. So I'm going to put one of them on each side, and then it gives the illusion of there being some sort of fastener or fixture that's holding it to the page, even though it's just a sticker. And I don't know where I got them. I'm sorry. So I want to see how it looks next to the other piece of paper that's part of this story where I'm going to do my journaling and figure out what number I want to use for this. And the red and the green 30 looked really pretty, but it was way too big. And then I thought about these plastic numbers that I got in this year's kit. And I don't even know if I might have only used one, if at all. And I thought about putting it right in the middle, but then I was like, I don't know. I think I want to leave it just completely see-through in the middle. So I thought the white kind of got lost against the green. So then I ended up going with my go-to, which is just these gold puffy numbers that I'm obsessed with. So I used those and called it good. Now I'm going to go into all of the little chipboard circle pieces I've selected from my stash. Most of them are from Ali Edwards. There's a couple from My Mind's Eye, which is no longer selling scrapbook items, and from Studio Calico, but they're also Ali Edwards. And I just chose colors and patterns that I thought would play well with the pattern papers that I have down already. And there's no rhyme or reason to where I'm putting them other than I'm trying to scatter the colors so that, the striped chipboard piece is not on top of the striped pattern paper and the red chipboard is not on top of the red pattern paper and so on and so forth. So now this is the fun part for me, is just kind of fussying with where I'm going to put all of these little chipboard circles and auditioning them out and seeing, where it works on this side. And I also want to make sure that I'm covering up the chipboard that's peeking through from the front side as well. So you'll see me kind of look for like peekaboo, if you will, of the back side of the chipboard and make sure that I'm covering it up. And I think this tape is just like random double-sided tape from Michael's or something, and it has worked really well for me. I cannot complain, and it has lasted me for quite a while, so I'm happy with that. The Quiet is a Choice chipboard is from the Quiet Story Kit. So I had pulled out the Quiet Story Kit plastic word in case I wanted to use it, but it ended up not working out for this story because of the fact that the wreath is on a transparency. And again, I think that's why ultimately I didn't go with the transparent number 30. It just kind of got lost in the bright pops of color that are there. So the backside, I don't know. I don't love the way it turned out, if I'm being honest. I think the front looks way more colorful and fun, obviously. And I thought about making all the photos black and white on the back, but then I was like, no, that kind of takes away from the authenticity of, and the reason for these stories are these photos. So like seeing the sunset and the sunrise rather, and the beautiful photo of the decorations above the street, that would have looked just so blah if it was black and white, I think. And the cardinal that is outside the sunroom at my in-laws' house, that to me, it had to be red. So I decided to leave it in color, but again, I don't know if it was like the chipboard that I chose. Maybe I should have gone with like a neutral color scheme, but I was trying to play off of the colorful trees on the right. I don't know. But I left it. I just decided I'm not going to fuss around with it. Like, it just is what it is, and we're going to be happy with the way it turned out. Now I'm going to use, so I used a Sharpie paint pen to put numbers 1 through 6 on the photos. I could have, again, that it looks really lame. I could have done something different. I could have made something really cute with the numbers, but I was like, meh. So on the right, I decided to write a little sort of explanation for each of the stories and the photos that I'm sharing. So number 1 says, festive holiday decor in downtown Cohoes. Number 2 says cozy chair day naps with Hoover, because it's a picture I took of my husband asleep with the dog on his lap. Number 3, Christmas Eve candle at church service. Number 4, New Year's Eve couch snuggles with Nora and Smokey. Number 5, fave spot at Lori and Graham's, sunroom, peace, and Grandpa Bird visits. That's what I call the red cardinal. And number 6 says honey vanilla chamomile tea with a cozy and oversized blanket. So those are my quiet moments. And underneath, I didn't need to journal about like any of that because I already did it on top of the trees where it says here's the story. Like, there's no story for me to have to tell beyond what's already there, really. So what I did was I took some washi tape from my stash. The gold one is from a year or 2 ago, and then the colorful one that came in this year's kit. And I trimmed out a 4x6 journaling card from the Quiet Story kit that says Quiet Moments. And then I just wrote a little sentence. It says Quiet Moments, and then around here from this season of life. And I wrote, with the quote, never stopping agenda and full calendar, it's always nice to appreciate the small pauses in December. And then the last thing I'm going to do to finish this story is put a gold star on top of each of the trees. I thought about using the ones from Allie Edwards that came with this year's kit, but they were way too big. So I went into my stash and grabbed these chipboard stars from Studio Calico. Now, normally I cut out the journaling from my process videos, but because the journaling is a big part of telling this story, just in the fact that I used a paint pen and I made some fun fonts with it, I didn't want to cut it out. So I just sped it up to 7 times the actual speed so that you guys didn't fall asleep. So now I'm going to finish covering up the bottom of this. I think it turned out okay. I don't know if it translated exactly the way I wanted. I maybe should have just left the bottom with the washi and not added the piece of the journaling card. Like, I almost feel like it competes with the lettering a little bit. But again, I really don't want to like mess with it because it's finished. You know what I mean? If this was like story 6, sure, I would go back and I would probably be way more particular and fussy, and I would have the attention span to, deal with like being extra picky over the circle embellishments to create a wreath, right? But here we are at the very end of the album, the second album, no less. And a lot of people only go to story 25, and going to story 31 is always extra, right? Because that's a lot of extra stories to tell. So my brain is just kind of like, I think we're just going to keep it the way it is. It's not perfect, and that's okay. Also, Nora had her friend over while I was putting this together, and so I had to keep getting up and, momming, if you will. And so my attention span was just like all over the place. I was navigating, helping them figure out what to do next, and anything to avoid screens, basically. So they did a good job, I must say. I'm very proud of them. Anywho, here is a close-up of the finished wreath that I did. And it's not my original idea, I want to say. I got it off of Instagram, but I couldn't tell you who was the originator of the wreath idea. And then once that's all finished, thumbs up, here we go. We're going to move on to story 31. Again, this one's very quick. It's really just an excuse. 31 is an excuse for me to always have a place to keep every holiday card that we send out, every Christmas card we send out. So these were our Christmas photos. This is our Christmas card. So consider this your Christmas card virtually. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, all the things. And here we go. So for this story, I knew it was going to be super simple. I needed to be able to flip up the card because there's a front and a back, and I needed to create a pocket to house the Christmas cards that were sent to us this year. And I have noticed, interestingly, that every year we get less and less, and I don't think it's any reflection of the lack of friendships that we have. It's just that people don't send them. I'm finding that a lot of people don't send Christmas cards. Let me know if that's you. No judgment, no feelings this way or that. It just is what it is, and that's fine. I'm happy to get what I get, and it's totally fine. Like, there's digital everything nowadays, right? So people just post it on their social media and say, here's your Christmas card, kind of like I'm doing for you right now, if you did not get a physical card from me. So yeah, I didn't get a ton, but I knew I wanted to create a pocket to house all of the cards that I did get. So this Merry chipboard, let me know if you got these words, if they fell apart. Many of these words fell apart on me, and it's not like I was rough. I hardly used them. I don't even think maybe I used one, but pretty much every other one of these chipboard words broke, which was very sad. So I am trying and failing to kind of like MacGyver it together. Do you guys know who MacGyver is? I just totally outdated myself, I'm sure. If you do, comment below. But basically, MacGyver was a dude who could like, fix something that seemed like impossible to fix with like a rubber band and gum. Like it was just like, oh, I don't know. Anyhow, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to fix this chipboard word with glue and cover up where it's jacked up with twine. Again, it's meh. It's okay. It's not the best. It could have been cuter. I could have done other things. I thought about bedazzling it with some jewels and making, covering up more of the imperfections. Also, my cat chews plastic, so I didn't realize I didn't know he did that. So I was, unbeknownst to me, like leaving all of my Allie Edwards packaging just on my December daily cart, and he would come in and just chew the crap out of the plastic, but also whatever was inside the plastic, which you can see on the top of the letter M. It's like there's some dents in it. Oh, it's at the bottom from where his stinky little teeth got through to it. But let me know if your cat chews plastic. I Googled it. I think it's like an anxiety thing. I don't know what he's anxious about, but anywho, wow, we're really going off the rails here. Quick, Jen, quick, end it. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm going to glue down the Mary. Now that I look at it on camera, it looks very crooked. Good for me. And it does end up drying okay and staying, at least for now. I can't, obviously attest to it withstanding the test of time, but I'm going to create a flip up with Scotch tape, cover that up with some washi tape. I decided to pull out this green one from Studio Calico because, I use the green twine on the Mary, so why not? And I am going to, underneath the card, just on this red heart that I had left over from all of those die cuts, I took my black paint pen this time. This is also from Grabby. Their paint pens are great. And I wrote, "Goodbye to December. You've been a whirlwind. Thanks for the memories, big and small." And then I just created some little, like, dash marks around the outside. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I do that in Project Life on my pocket cards where I just, like, add this little faux stitched look. I don't know what you call it, but it's cute. I think it's cute, and I'm here for it. So, and I thought, oh, I could add like more hearts around it. I could do this, that, and the third. I said, you know what, Jen, keep it simple. Let it go. Be present. Don't worry. It'll be okay. It doesn't have to be like extra, extra, extra like some of your other stories have been. It's hard for me to keep things simple, guys. I'm an over embellisher and I am afraid of white space. If you guys know me, then you know that that's true. So the last thing I'm going to do is just add a little, what are these called? Tabs? Yes. Wow. Tabs. And it says warm wishes in gold foiling, and I think it's perfect because it's a Christmas card, so warm wishes. And then I'm going to move on to the right and to make a little pocket. I would say this pocket it would have taken me 10 minutes, honestly, but decision fatigue, I had too many pattern papers to choose from. First world problems, right? So I knew I was going to use the red leafy background. I thought to myself, it's really pretty, but I don't really see myself using it in other projects, or it's not like my favorite, but it went well with this story with the red and white checked background. Again, that's also why I chose to use that, by the way, for story 30, is because our Christmas card covers up most of that paper, and it's very loud and, You know, it's a bold pattern. Both of them are pretty bold. I mean, the leaf pattern's not so bold, it's more busy, and then the checked pattern is just very bold. So I thought this was a great way to use that paper and not waste it. You're going to see me audition a lot of different pattern papers to try to figure out which paper was going to be the front of the pocket. I couldn't decide. So I ended up editing out a whole bunch, walking away and coming back once I chose it. And turns out I didn't even go with an Ellie Edwards paper. Sometimes I can't even stand myself. So this paper is from, Pink Fresh Studio. It is an old paper I have in my stash. Love their products and love the quality of the paper. So it was going to work really well. And I thought, oh, it's going to look way crazy because of the floral pattern and then the red and white checked pattern on the left, but somehow it works. I don't know. Again, that's what, like, if I had seen these three papers next to each other, I probably wouldn't have chosen them, but it just works. So I just trimmed it down and then created little flaps with the scoreboard and added my double-sided tape to the flaps. So that's going to be the pocket. And then, like I said, I didn't get a ton of cards, so I knew I wasn't going to need a lot of room or space for the cards once they go sit in there. And then I decided to embellish the front of the pocket just a little bit. I cut a notch in it, punched a notch in it with my circle punch. And then I carried over the washi on the front of the pocket because I used it on the left for the flip up. And then I spelled out greetings with my alpha stickers that are from one of the Advent sticker kits. Then I decided on the number 31 in the red, also an Advent sticker kit, or Advent sticker item. And to bring in the green twine, baker's twine, I made a little bow for the top. And last but not least, I was not planning on doing this, but I found this little gold heart just chilling on my desk. And I said, hey, little gold heart, you would look really cute on the bottom of this cluster. So I did. I put it there. It needed to be reinforced with some of my glue for my glue pen. But guys, that's it. That wraps up the 31st story in my album. Holy cow. I cannot believe I did it. And I was gone for most of December. I was doing all the things. So I am very proud of myself that I finished this by the end of January. And I already have my December daily items put away. So I feel like I'm winning. I can't wait to continue to share content with you. The next big album I might work on will either be Nora's album or a travel album because I definitely need to get back to those. I can't believe I'm almost done wrapping up the last video. What? You guys have to stay tuned because I will be sharing a flip through of volume 2 for this project. So here we are approaching the end. You can see the close-ups of story 31 in real time. And then I am going to switch my camera and show you how everything looks all together, both of the stories in my December daily album. I cannot thank you enough for joining me and spending all of this time. If you've been watching these videos, my gratitude is endless for you guys. It is so, so kind of you to take time out of your busy schedules and, you know, allow yourselves to be entertained by my shenanigans. Hopefully you found some creativity and some inspo. Please, if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing and like this video if you did. I will see you guys next time for the flip through. Take care, sweet friends. Remember that you are enough. Love you guys. Bye.